And maybe there's something we can do that could keep that from happening.
Making these two movies is also changing the superficial image of George Clooney like a sex symbol, because they are very different in your career.
Yes, well, yeah, because I put on 35 pounds to do the movie. It almost killed me, I'll tell you. But that's okay. You know, the truth is, as you get older, you don't get to be an actor at the level that I was playing at for very long before they take it away from you, you know. They don't let you sort of stay in that spotlight all that long. So you always try to find other ways to, you know, you want to keep moving forward. So the trick is now to find better jobs. And then that's why you write and direct and do other things, produce. Because truthfully, they'll be very sick of me pretty soon, and I want to have another job to fall back on, you know. Be a character actor.
We are waiting for the press conference of Venice Film Festival, but many people are saying that Good Night and Good Luck is so interesting that could be in the official selection. Do you love the festival? Would you like to be?
Love it. Well, I love it also because, you know, I have a home here where you are, and in this room, which is the factory that we live in, I built an editing room with an Avid and everything. So we came here after we finished shooting Good Night and Good Luck, and spent 6 weeks cutting here so that we get away from Hollywood and get away from... You need to be alone a little bit when you're editing. So we spent 6 weeks editing the film here. And so it feels very much like it has the stamp of Italy on it. You know, there's a joy to the film that you'll see that I think reflects how much I love being here. You know, I plan everything around how do I get back to my house, you know. It's been by far the best thing I've ever done in my life was to find this country and to find this, and this home and this town and this lake, just mind altering. So, yeah, and I love the Venice Film Festival, by far my favorite times I've ever had there, going to the festival. And Venice is such an interesting city to me. It was my first city ever in Italy. Beautiful city. So it's fun to be able to go back there and do it. I've been there 3 times for the festival.
Let me ask you some question about your relationship with Laglio, the people of the lake. We read a lot of stories. What kind of message do you receive from your local admirers? Is it true that you play basketball in the church?
I do. There's a basketball court now. They just rebuilt one up here. They covered it, so it's nicer, so we can play basketball there. I played there yesterday. Yeah, we play basketball. Take the bicycle and ride it down to the basketball court and play. But some of the local kids come out and play. I've gotten Italian basketball uniform they gave me, so I have to wear that and play. I've only started again because I had back and neck surgery while I was shooting these things, so I'm sort of slowly getting, you know, my back back. But yeah, the people in the town have been dear friends. You know, they really have been. During the day, there's a lot of tourists, so I don't really go out much during the day. But in the evening, I can walk around and see, you know, the people who live here. There's a really lovely woman who lives right next door who, you know, I stop by and bring her flowers every once in a while. She always sits out on her porch over here. She's great. So no, they're incredibly sweet to me, and they've been that way ever since. I know it's disruptive in their lives, I think, to have someone who with them brings all this baggage of people standing outside the house. And I think it can be disruptive, and I feel badly about that. So I always try and I send them a letter every once in a while and go, sorry if it's disruptive. I certainly have no intention of that.
You know that they say that everybody here on the lake say George in a perfect way, and it's the only American name they can say. Well,
that's the funniest. I just walk, if you sit here long enough, you'll just hear, Giorgio. And I'm like, hey, ciao. But it's nice. They've been incredibly welcoming here, and you know, I have friends in Menaggio and in Tremezio, and I have friends in Cernovia, and all the towns around here. I've made really lovely friends.
How is the situation of the so-called beach of George Clooney? Have you fixed to organize the beach?
Oh yeah, it got so much more attention here. I didn't even really understand what was going on in the States, but getting the house next door, which mostly it's completely destroyed, it's dilapidated, and in front of it's a public beach. And I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix up the public beach. Talk to the mayor about it. So I said, let me fix it up. I would, the last thing in the world I would do is come to someone's town and try to buy their beach. I mean, that's silly. So I said, I'll fix up your beach. And it got caught in a political thing. One guy running it against another guy, and somebody was helping out George, and then it became he's trying to buy a beach and take away our public beach, which would never happen. And I wrote the people in the town a letter and said, I'm not trying to buy your beach. The beach is in terrible shape right now, and I'd like to fix it up. I'd like to make it really a beautiful place for you guys to come. I'd like that to be something I can do as a neighbor. And that's all it was. That was all it ever was. That was all the suggestion ever was. So once they found out, they all called me up and said, sorry, it got out there but it was a lot of news for a while, I hear. Who knew? So I was surprised by how big that story was. There wasn't really any truth to it.
What do you think you have found in Italy that in Hollywood it's impossible to find, if there is?
Well, I think pretty much everything. I think that, for me, everything now, understanding that I'm one of the lucky ones who gets to experience things at a very nice level. So I'm sure that there's a lot of difficult things about Italy, but that's not part of my life. What I get is the nicest people I know in any country I've ever traveled in, the most beautiful architecture. I mean, Italy doesn't get rid of their history. America, every 20 years we tear down all of our buildings because we just go, well, let's start anew, because we're this sort of forward-moving country and we have no history. And we don't have buildings that are 300 years old, 400 or 500 years old, that people live in. I love that. I love the food, which is the best food in the world. I love the wine, which I think is the best wine in the world. But in general, I just really enjoy, in Italy, if you stop someone and ask for directions, they actually help you. They might actually drive you there. Hey, come on. I think that doesn't happen in most countries. And so I find it to be, for me and for all my friends who come here constantly every summer and spend time, we find this to be the most beautiful place in the world. And the Alps are something. And this lake is stunning.
Could you have a project or work with Italian artists, for instance, the most famous international actress Monica Bellucci, or the most famous Italian director Roberto Benigni?
Oh, I'd love to. Benigni's got a film coming out soon, I think, in October, right? We know that because our film was going to come out on the same day, and they said, get out. You shouldn't be opening up against Benigni. Well, I love him. I love her, too. I've met her several times because of her husband is Vincent Casal, who I'd worked with, who I also think he stayed here at the house before, Vincent has. I'd love to, I'd love to. There are quite a few I'd like to work with. I have to get a better, if you listen to the gym in there, I have discs and tapes of Italian. I'm working very hard at learning the language first, because I think the secret for me, is that I have to speak it well enough. I have to understand it well enough so that I can work with those guys, work with the director like that, because that to me would be the fun. Otherwise, we're both going to sound like, we'll both sound a little off. I need to learn to speak Italian better. That's what I'm trying to do. I've got a nice teacher now, Giovanni over there. He's teaching me Napoletano, as though it's not, I don't quite understand it.
Did you learn any words in Napoletano?
Oh, everything I learn, unfortunately. Right, Gio, is Napoletano? I can't tell you the words he's taught me.
It's better.
It's better that way. It's a television show. You can get in trouble.
Are you still trying to win that famous bet with Nicole Kidman about you getting married and having kids?
I think I already won that bet.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I already won that bet. That was, us just kidding around. I wasn't actively really trying to avoid it or not avoid it. It just ended up being one of those funny things that happened along the way. So no, I haven't really thought about it. I haven't talked to Nicole in a while. So I'll have to call her up and see if she has any other bets she wants to make.
A joke for the million of fans you have. Could you can you describe your ideal woman? And is there any woman of the past you could fall madly in love with?
Well, we always say this, and it's not just because we're in Italy. I met her once at a Armani fashion show, but the perfect woman is always Sophia Loren. She always is. If I'm in Germany and they say, who's the perfect woman, you say, Sophia Loren. There's no, and by the way, I think Most guys would say that. She's just, from the